Hi guys, today I wanted to break down the building of the tunnel book. So the first things you guys should have is a drawing that shows one of your favorite fairy tales. The next thing you're going to do after you have your drawing done, you can do this in your sketchbook, is you're going to have these 4 slides that I gave you. They should be watercolor paper. And what you're going to do on each slide, you're going to take your drawing and you're going to break up your drawing into 4 layers. So the first layer here in the front, I can see grass and a little bit of the tree covers up here. So my first layer here, I'm going to show grass. And if you notice on each of these slides, there's a border. You need at least 3 connected borders so that when you're ready to cut, it doesn't fall apart. You need to have 3 connected borders. You can choose the side, but for mine are all left without a border at the top. Every other side has a border. So you'll see why here in a second. So I did the grass. My next layer, I did the border and then the bridge and the character standing there. And the next layer, it's actually going to be this one. It's going to be the river and the rocks and the mountains in the back. And my last layer are clouds. So you guys can see all of that together in here. So once you have drawn out your layers on your 4 sheets of paper, you're going to cut them out. So here you guys can see my cutout examples. I cut out my clouds and grass. I cut out my characters and the bridge. I cut out my mountains and the river. And the last one, I don't want to cut anything on the last one. It's going to be my background. I left my clouds there. Okay? So when I put these together in order, you can kind of get a preview of what it's going to look like. So when they're stacked together, they show it shows a preview of my drawing. And I notice I haven't used the watercolors on this yet. You guys can use the watercolors before you put it together. You guys can color it in. I'm just going to focus on the building process here. So I have my 4 slides cut out. The next step, I want to cut out something from my sketchbook, something like a square. These are called folds, and they're going to be used on the side of your watercolor project. They're going to be used on the side to hold it all together. So make sure that the height of this kind of matches the height of your, I think it's like this, the height of your project. Okay? So I need 2. And one way to do this, you can cut out 1. Mine looks like it's about 4 by 6 here. And then you can take that one, put it over another sheet of paper in your sketchbook, and you can cut that out. And it'll give you the same exact size. And for this, everyone's is going to be a little bit different. The main thing to remember, make sure they're the same size. And when you guys fold them together. So watch, I want to fold them, and I want to make sure that every the 2 pieces I have, each one has 2 folds in it, 2 pockets. You'll see why. So I'm going to take this. My first fold is going to be halfway, or a third. I want to fold it a third so that way it reaches halfway. Okay? So you guys can see that's my first fold. I fold it at 75% here, so it reaches halfway. And then I'm going to turn it around away from the folded side, and I want to fold the same amount going backwards. So you guys can see from the side. It's already starting to look like a zigzag. And then we have this extra paper sticking out. I'm going to take that and I'm going to fold it back over. So you guys should end up with this W, the zigzag, okay? And I now have two, and they're the same size. So let me show you guys what to do with these. I'm gonna line them up like this with the two pockets here. One pocket, two pocket, one pocket, two pocket. They're both going to be facing inward, okay? And what we're gonna do here with your cutout slides, there's 4 spaces where you're gonna glue them. On the front, number 2, number 3, and then on the back. So I wanna grab my front one. This is my cover, this is the front of mine, this is the foreground. And I want to glue it down. My glue is a little dry here. Hey guys, sorry. So it turns out I ran out of glue. So real quick, I'm just going to show you with tape exactly the way it goes. So I want to make sure that my folds here, my 2 folds, they're facing inward. And then my first slide here, it's going to be glued or taped on to the front here. So I'm going to use the face of these folds to make sure that my front layer is put on there. Okay, I got the front one, I got one side. Let's get the other side. And now you can see it's standing up, but you can also see how my fold here is way too big. It's showing up. I don't like that. So I want to make sure I cut off any excess. I don't like how my fold is actually part of the piece. I want to make sure it's hidden back there. It doesn't serve a purpose exactly in my work. So I want to make sure. Okay, I got my front layer. Now I'm going to add the back layer so that it gives it some structure. And my back layer is intact. So this one should be easy. I'm going to make sure I go back here that I'm doing the same thing. I'm gluing it all the way on the back. So I leave these 2 pockets for my last 2 slides. Okay. So now I'm going to fold it just a little bit so you guys can see it better. Now I have some structure here. I did the first one and the last one. And now inside here, you're going to see 2 pockets. 1, 2. And that's where my other 2 slides are going to go. Let's do the middle one here first. I'm just going to slide it right in. And then the last one. And you guys glue it down. You guys can glue behind the borders into it. I'm going to use tape here. I'm just going to tape some of this down. But for example's sake, it's basically complete in terms of structure. This is what it's going to look like. And then you guys can either color after you glue it down or color before. And when you're coloring, think about the light and the brightness and darkness of the layers that you're using. Okay, usually the layers in the front will be darker, more vibrant colors, and then lighter colors back here where the clouds and the mountain are. So let's glue that down. It keeps falling. So I hope this helps, guys.